Hi, boys and girls. We have a new reader for this unit called Gran. Today you're going to hear a story from our new reader. Let's take a look at the cover of our big book. So here's our book. Okay, you see a picture of Gran and she's riding a bicycle. Looks like she's somewhere close to a beach. So what do you think Gran is short for? Do you call your someone special Gran? Because Gran is short for grandma. This book has three main characters, Gran, Jen, and Josh. So Jen and Josh are Gran's grandchildren. We will see that Gran is very adventurous and likes to try new things. So you see this punctuation mark? It is called an apostrophe. Gran's with the apostrophe S, an apostrophe tells us that the trip belongs to Gran. So Nat's cat. What belongs to Nat? The cat belongs to Nat. The apostrophe tells us this. Beth's mom. What does Beth have? A mom. You will learn that Gran travels to many places, including the Swiss Alps and Hong Kong. What do you think Gran will do in these places? So there's the Swiss Alps, and there's a picture of Hong Kong. Gran also visits a gulf. A gulf is a part of the ocean where the water is usually warm. What might someone do at a gulf? I've been to the Gulf and I went swimming. So let's preview the spellings. The EE makes the E sound. So repeat after me. See, street, three, steep, eel, and feed. The NG makes the ng sound, and it's sing, wing, Hong Kong. Your tricky words are says, when, here, which, was, one, where, there, were, what, and from. So your vocabulary, when someone shrugs, kind of means they don't know something. All right. So what are you going to do tomorrow? Meaning I don't know. All right. Steep. When you're climbing up steps and they're really high up and you really have to climb up to get to every step, that is steep. All right. A cliff. That is the edge of the mountain and goes down into the water. Slick. If something is slick, it means it's very slippery. You could possibly fall. Cling. Cling means to stick to something. The Gulf, we said, was a body of water where the water is really warm. And an eel is a saltwater animal that has big teeth, is very long, and they normally live at the bottom of the ocean. All right, so let's read to find out what types of adventures Gran had in the Swiss Alps, Hong Kong, and the Gulf. So I've got my book here. All right. When will Gran get here? Josh asks. Jen shrugs. Just then, Josh and Jen see a cab on the street. Gran is here, Jen yells. When Gran steps from the cab, Josh and Jen run up to get a hug. Was the trip fun? Josh asked. Which one? Gran asked. I went on 3 trips. Where to? Asked Josh. One was to the Swiss Alps, says Gran. In the Alps, there were steep cliffs. I went up to the top of one cliff, but it was slick. I fell and had to cling to the rocks. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. So we're still looking at some snapshots, like the first book. What was the next trip? Josh asked. I went to Hong Kong, says Gran. What is in Hong Kong? Lots of stuff, said Gran. In Hong Kong, I met a woman who sings and has wings on his back. No, says Josh. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. What was the last trip? Asked Jen. I went to the Gulf to swim with the eels and feed the fish, says Gran. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. Which trip was the best? Josh asked. This one, Gran says. The one where I get to see Josh and Jen. So even though she liked all three of her trips, her best one is getting to see her grandchildren. So I hope you enjoyed the story and answered the questions that go with this story.